Every single day, massive industrial operations across the globe maintain a relentless, high-speed pace. Within these complex environments, hundreds of millions of work-related injuries and illnesses occur every single year. These include lost time incidents, which are occupational injuries that result in an employee being unable to return to work for at least one full day. Operations leaders recognize the operational and financial toll of these events. In fact, 97% of them acknowledge that workplace safety is directly tied to reliable productivity. This chart compares corporate financial inputs against actual safety outcomes. On the left, we see that 95% of safety leaders are actively maintaining or increasing their safety budgets over the next 2 years. On the right, global lost time incidents remain stubbornly high. As the budget line climbs, the incident rate stays flat. Pumping more capital into the existing system is not reducing the injury rate. Capital investment alone cannot buy worksite safety. There is a structural flaw in how these resources are being deployed. A recent global survey conducted by the independent research firm NewtonX queried 200 senior safety and operations professionals to diagnose this exact failure point. The data reveals a specific operational disconnect. 64% of queried leaders report a persistent gap between documented safety protocols and actual real-world behavior on the worksite. Traditionally, companies treat safety as a localized, top-down compliance function. It operates as a rigid administrative checklist rather than an integrated process. To function properly, safety must transition from a static compliance task into a holistic, enterprise-wide operating system. Organizations will only close the protocol behavior gap when they stop purchasing isolated safety tools and begin engineering an integrated safety architecture. There is a physical and operational distance between the corporate offices where protocols are written and the factory floor where they are executed. Because protocol creators often lack a deep understanding of day-to-day worksite realities, they generate administrative processes that completely fail to address the actual root causes of hazards. The clearest symptom of this detachment is the corporate mandate to achieve zero workplace incidents. While these absolute targets persist in corporate messaging, 76% of safety leaders admit that zero incident goals are entirely unrealistic. Forcing impossible top-down metrics onto a complex industrial environment does not improve safety. It fractures the trust between the workforce and the management team. This network map outlines the 3 required pillars of a strong safety culture: training and communication, tools and technology, and data and reporting. Most modern enterprises have heavily invested in these areas. The nodes are active and fully funded. The core failure point is structural. These pillars exist in complete isolation. They operate as siloed departments rather than interacting parts of a unified system. Look at the first pillar, training. It is the absolute highest budget priority for 46% of safety leaders. To break out of its silo, training cannot just mean increasing the volume of top-down lectures. Nearly a third of leaders note that training must become relevant, continuous, and two-way to actually build worker trust. The tools and technology pillar is similarly heavily funded. Organizations invest in personal protective equipment, radios, and advanced compliance devices. Yet there is a massive trust deficit on the floor. While 92% of workers have at least some trust in these tools, a mere 36% have a great deal of trust in their company's procedures and equipment. This chart brings us to the final and most critically broken pillar, data and reporting. We are comparing the organizational use of reactive data against predictive data. The vast majority of organizations, 73%, use their data retrospectively. They spend their resources reviewing incident reports and near-miss records long after an event has already occurred. By contrast, only 33.5% of organizations utilize predictive analytics to forecast risk before it happens. Predictive analytics is the process of using historical data and statistical algorithms to identify the likelihood of future outcomes. Gathering massive amounts of safety data yields no proactive benefit if the organization only uses it to look in the rearview mirror. Reactive systems will always fail to stop the next incident. This presents a strict engineering problem. How does an enterprise physically wire these 3 isolated pillars together to close the protocol behavior gap? The solution is predictive AI analytics. an integration engine translating raw data into actionable protocols. 65% of leaders expect AI tools to become a daily operational component. 84% trust AI for data analytics, and 79% for predictive risk analytics. An integrated AI core transforms static device data into proactive training adjustments. It systematically bridges the divide between the executives writing the rules and the workers operating on the floor. This creates a definitive operational shift. The organization stops tracking what did happen and begins forecasting what will happen. Connected safety devices act as the real-time nervous system for this architecture. By utilizing cellular and satellite telemetry, the automatic measurement and wireless transmission of data from remote sources, these tools feed continuous information back to the core. Applying predictive analytics to this continuous stream of data allows organizations to identify and eliminate the root causes of hazards before a lost-time incident ever occurs. By integrating technology, training, and productive data, enterprises can transition safety from a reactive compliance cost into a proactive operating system. This is how the protocol behavior gap is permanently closed.